Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tuesday, November 17th, and this is the Raynham Board of Selectmen meeting. May I have the minutes accepted, please?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have a John Chavino with us this evening, who is our Director of Planning and Development, with his report.
Good evening. A few projects to update the board on. The Route 138 reconstruction. Since I spoke with the board last, I've attended a couple of workshops on this. One was an open house Mass DOT held in Mansfield a few weeks ago about capital investments, and then a transportation improvement program workshop at Mass DOT District 5. And the takeaways from this regarding Route 138 is that the scope of the project that Mass DOT is proposing will extend from just north of the intersection of Elm Street East and West, up near the gas station, all the way down to north of King Philip Street, where the road work for Walmart ends. So the scope is actually a little bit larger than what I thought it would be. I thought it would be just, right from the highway down.
Right.
But Ed Buckley found out about this, the highway superintendent. He's thrilled that it's going to be a little bit farther north than we anticipated.
Beautiful.
Second takeaway is that the proposed reconstruction the initial proposal will likely include sidewalks on both sides of Route 138. And if for some reason the town is not amenable to this or doesn't want to see the sidewalks on both sides, then the town would have to apply for a waiver to Mass Highway and stating the reasons why sidewalks would not work on both sides of the street. I spoke to Bill Travers of Mass DOT about this issue and said that there was some sentiment towards keeping the sidewalks on the western side of Route 138, because on the eastern side is where you have all the telephone poles and all that, and with connections going across, and his response was, well, if we don't do sidewalks on both sides, where would these connections be going to? So that's part of the Mass DOT Complete Streets program, where they go for sidewalks on both sides of the street. So we will, no pun intended, cross that bridge when it comes. So that's the step the town would have to take, is we would need to petition Mass DOT for a waiver and state the reasons why sidewalks aren't needed on both sides of the street. The third takeaway is that since it's a Mass DOT proposed project, 80% of the project would be funded by funds from federal highway, and the other 20% would be quote-unquote a local match. However, Mass DOT at the state level would pick up the other 20%.
Oh.
So in other words, the reconstruction of Route 138 would likely not cost the town a dime, which is great. And because it's a Mass DOT proposed project and not a town-initiated project, they handle the public hearings, they handle the easements and the rights-of-way and all the legal logistics that would be required. So it's a much less intensive process at the town level for a Mass DOT proposed project. I spoke to the engineer for the Shell station today and expressed to him the concern about the open hole at that property. He understands they've been held up and delayed at the Mass DOT permitting process, that level. So you should see installation of those gas tanks begin by the end of the week, he said.
Today.
Okay.
Oh, were they? Good.
So good. So we should see resolution on that, and that site should be more secured here in the next week or so. Spoke to the engineer, McMahon Associates, about the Center Street traffic signal. And again, they got held up at the Mass DOT District 5 level with an additional plan they didn't expect to have to submit. Therefore, probably not going to see installation of those traffic lights until the spring. And however, they are going to work with Mass DOT District 5 to see if they can at least install the left-hand turn lane southbound onto Center Street off of 138 to help alleviate the police details that are needed, because I know that the chief would probably like to see those details go away, because that's been going on for quite a while now. So it's unfortunate. They were hoping that they'd be able to get at least a substantial amount of work done in this calendar year, but at this point, it's not feasible.
Why is it taking so long for the DOT to issue these permits?
I can't speculate on that, but I know there have been a lot of early retirements at the Mass DOT District 5 level. They recently lost 40 to 50 people, I believe.
Oh, wow.
So there's been a very high turnover of staff. Maybe that has something
Maybe
to do with it.
something to do with it, right.
So I know that McMahon Associates said that they thought they were on the verge of getting their permit, and then Mass DOT said we need a layout alteration permit, information that would have come in handy months earlier. So maybe
Because
there's...
I thought they were almost all ready to go.
And I did too, and I could tell that McMahon is a little bit frustrated as well. However, it is what it is, and we are where we are with that project, so they said springtime for that now. And lastly, I want to let the selectmen know that the planning board got a new site plan approval application for a property at Raynham Woods. It's on the corner of Paramount Drive and Commerce Way. The project's going to be a 42,700 square foot office/warehouse building with 8 5,500 square foot spaces that will be rented to various businesses. The good thing about this project is, it fills a vacancy in the Raynham Woods Commerce Center, which is important for the town. I think there are still a few vacant lots left there.
There is, yeah.
7, that many?
They initially had 7.
I didn't think there were that
Yeah.
many, so.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that getting filled up. And the other nice thing, the other thing that's going to make this public hearing hopefully go smoothly is that they don't need any variances, they don't need any special permits from anything, and the drainage and the roadways were constructed to accommodate full build-out. So they don't have to put in any
Perfect.
detention basins or drainage, and likely won't have to do any roadway or traffic mitigation, so. And that's all I have for now.
Well done, John. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Any questions of John?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We have no appointments this evening. We have no public hearings. Do we have any new business?
None, Madam Chair.
Any old business to be completed?
Same.
Mr. Administrator, would you like to give your report?
As far as the fall town meeting, we want to thank people. That did come out. The next order of business is setting the tax rate, and the assessors would like tentatively to meet on December 8th for the tax classification hearing. Not yet, because we'll give them another week just to confirm. On the collector treasurer position, we'll be reviewing the applicants we've received over the next few days. We'll be setting up some initial interviews. On the jail cells, now that the funding for the project has been approved, AJ Architects will move ahead with the full design and specifications for the new jail cells, and we expect the project will be bid out in the spring. Thanksgiving is coming up next week already, and we'll have a short week. Town offices will be closed Thursday and Friday. We do have a surplus vehicle, a 2000 Ford Ranger, formerly used by the building department, and I think we can get between $2,000 and $2,500 if the board wishes to sell it, if that's all.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next Selectmen's meeting, we have Chief Donovan coming in. Department head meeting this Thursday at 10 a.m. And Mr. Charbonneau and I will be meeting with Johnson & Johnson regarding their next proposed expansion plan.
Randy, do you have any questions for Randy? Randy, on these jail cells, they're going to bid it out in the spring. How long do they anticipate it's going to take to actually get cells down there?
They haven't got that far.
Haven't got that far?
Nope.
This is the longest 2 cells I've ever seen built in the history of the town of Raynham. That's great news, though, that Johnson & Johnson is another expansion?
Yeah.
What are they putting on, do you know?
Nope, nope.
That's what you're going to meet with them
We'll
for?
find out next Tuesday.
To find out?
Yeah, next Tuesday.
I can hardly wait. The last expansion was a wonderful one. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, Selectmen's report. Do you have anything to,
I do, Madam
you have a laundry list
I only
tonight?
have 2 tonight.
Okay, good.
The first is, as we have all seen, I'm sure, Madam Chair, 44 is pretty much buttoned up for the year. They did that nagging stretch of mine in front of Shaw's. They completed that yesterday. It looks great. I'm thrilled. I'm sure many motorists and businesses are also
We're all
thrilled.
happy.
Yes. So, fortunately for all of us, we got that done with the help of DOT, and hopefully in the future it will be a more reciprocal relationship moving forward with them. And the only other thing I have, Madam Chair, is it was brought to my attention some people had confusion as to our town meeting last night, and I believe that we do quite a bit here in town to publicize town meeting. We mail out the warrants to every household in town. I think, Mr. Buckner, we did 6,000. And obviously, the post office from time to time doesn't deliver everything that gets mailed out. It's happened to all of us in the past, personally, professionally, and no doubt it happened with some of these warrants. But there were some other concerns by people regarding other breakdowns, and I think moving forward, we continue to do what we do with keeping an eye on using our website, and potentially, if we still have those, Mr. Buckner, the signs that we used to put out for town meeting, if we could get highway back into the routine of posting those. And then in addition to that, always encourage people to watch this show, attend our meetings, and if they have any questions, to contact us, because we certainly, I know, all believe that the more people who attend our town meetings, the better off we are. And there was no desire on any of our behalves to stymie any type of participation.
Oh, absolutely not, my gosh. Because I know even myself, as I looked out into the audience last evening, was disappointed because there were so few people there. Grant you, that's our quorum, and we had a quorum, we met our quorum, we did it, but I can remember when that room was full, when everybody had a stake in it, everybody asked a question. It doesn't happen like that anymore. It really does not. This is the reason that we start out with 200, go to 150, go to 75, and here we are at a 25 quorum, because people don't attend. I don't know why they don't attend. Yes, ma'am.
My only personal opinion is I think they want to attend. People are too busy. Not to attend, too busy to remember. They need to be constantly reminded. I run events all the time. People want to come, but if you don't remind them 20,000 times, even up until the moment they're going to forget. People just have way too much on their plates today, and they forget.
No, I tend to agree with you.
Yeah. I would have been there if I got a reminder that morning. However I got it, I would have been there.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can work on something.
Yeah, I think, you know, our abilities are somewhat limited. I think a lot of times people see what a place like Boston is able to do, and, you know, while I would love to have a lot of the nice technology they have, our entire budget is probably the size of the mayor's office budget in Boston. So we're always open to suggestions and ideas with the hope that people understand that we are constrained financially.
And we are in no means not wanting people there.
To
I
attend.
mean, Facebook to me is the best social way to remind people. I don't know how many town members we actually have, but I know there's 2,000 members on the Raynham residents page, and to me...
When you say town members, you mean residents?
Residents,
We're about 13,000.
Okay, I mean, obviously that's a very small percentage, but if you can even reach that many, and then maybe they reach other people, it's at least it's a start.
Well, we're going to try to do a little more than what we already are doing, and see if it works. That's all I can
Yeah,
say.
and I just wanted that entered for our minutes, Madam Chair, because,
Absolutely, and I appreciate you doing that.
and that's all I have, Madam Chair.
That's it? Karen, anything? There's just one question I have of Randy. 138, Randy, you know I'm a bug going up and down 138 all the time and all. I went up there the other day and was shocked to see how many cars are at that gas station at the corner. What are they doing there? What kind of a license does he have there? Will you check on that for me, please?
You're talking the corner of Center Street?
Yeah, right at the corner. There were so many cars there, I'm telling you, it was a used car lot.
Marie, is that the one at the corner of Center
It's the corner of Center Street, on the right-hand side.
I know the building commissioner's been out there.
I know he has. Well, I have to tell you, maybe he's been out there, but would you find out the license, what kind it is?
They have no license.
They have no license. Well, then, we're going to have to do something about that. They can't do that. That whole corner is completely blocked. You can't see to get around or anything else with all the cars that are there. We have to find out what kind of business he's doing. I'll get at the building inspector with that. That's got to stop. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. I don't have anything else to gripe about right this minute. Correspondence is extremely light this evening. This is from Frank Ward regarding 604 South Main Street. He is sending this letter on behalf of the Hampton family who suffered a house fire on the 14th, leaving their home unlivable. They'd like to install a temporary mobile home on the site to be used as living quarters while the family rebuilds their damaged home. I do not see, all right, they're going to use the utility connections, connecting it to the existing utilities on the property. A licensed plumber will be making a water connection to the main water service in the basement and connecting drain lines from the mobile home to the existing sewer line clean out in the basement. Electricians will be setting up a temporary electric service. What say you?
Motion to accept.
Second for discussion.
Okay, all in favor?
All in favor, aye. Just the discussion, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I was out there Saturday morning.
Yeah.
That's how I started my Saturday, was on scene at the fire. And I knew that was going to be brought up, so I felt it was more appropriate to bring it up then. But Chief Janis, his crew, Berkeley Fire, Middleborough Fire, Taunton Fire, and Bridgewater Fire all responded. We had a coordinated effort of 5 departments to put that fire out, to prevent it from spreading to the homes, which are in close proximity.
Excuse
to
me.
prevent any injuries, both of the occupants of the house and of our guys. And I thought they did a great job, and I was on scene for a good hour with Jim. He was drinking coffee, he didn't give me any. I think, those types of situations are obviously unfortunate for the homeowners.
Yes.
But I think a world of credit goes out to Jim and his guys and all of the departments offering mutual aid to deal with it. As I was leaving, one of the fires sparked back up at the rear of the house, so they had to go in and take a little bit more of it out, but they did a great job, and hats off to the guys.
As always,
Yes,
they
as
do
always.
a fantastic job. So this is all right with everybody
Yes.
to have the temporary home there, and as long as it complies with all of the other boards. This is a request for a tag day. The name of the organization is the Glen Tufts Giant Futures Baseball Club from West Bridgewater, December 11th and December 18th. Chris Gray is the contact person, and they wish to do tag days.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that's all we have for correspondence this evening. We have no reporter here this evening, so there's no press time. We have no emergency business. We do have a citizen here that would like to address the board. Would you please go to the microphone and state your name and address? And
Hi, my name is Robin Slavin. I live at 151 Hickory Drive. I've been a resident here for 13 years. Should I just repeat what I said a little bit?
Yes, please,
Okay,
whatever.
so what brought me here tonight was just a concern I've had over the past 2 weeks with the coyotes coming out of the woods and actually coming into my yard quite often, more than the norm. So it kind of prompted me for a couple of things. I was concerned on how to handle it, and I wasn't sure whom to address for that. And then I was also concerned that this was happening because of the excessive building that's been going on in the town, as well as right on Route 104, the Raynham Bridgewater line. They knocked down quite a bit of property there, woods and so forth, and I can only imagine these animals are very confused as to where to go at this point, and that's why they're coming out into people's properties. What I found out was this is their denning time, where they're looking for homes to live in, and they're trying to find a place to kind of situate themselves for the winter. They're looking for food. It should die down by early to middle part of December. It was recommended to me that residents who are having this issue should not leave anything in their yards that could possibly attract the animals. Obviously, do not let your children out there by themselves, or your animals, your dogs and your cats. The coyotes typically come out from dawn to dusk, although I've seen them at 9 o'clock in the morning walking right next to my house. It's a little scary. They're out there. You hear them at night. It's a little scary. The other thing that was recommended is they don't like metallic sounds. So if you take like a Coke can and you put some rocks in it and you shake it, or you take like a pot and a pan and you make a loud noise, this should scare them away and hopefully they won't come back. The good news is this period should hopefully be over within the next 2 to 4 weeks. Other than that, my other real concern was, the building that's going on in the towns, that this problem is this is going to become a continued issue. It's not going to go away. So along those lines, is there any way to inform the residents of how to handle a situation like this? I made 2 phone calls before I got an answer, but it would have been nice if I had seen a post somewhere, anywhere. I posted on the Raynham Residents Facebook page. I think a lot of people appreciated that. I literally just did that this morning, so hopefully by tomorrow a lot more people will be aware of how to handle it. The last thing you want is someone to pull out a gun and start shooting. So, this is a safe way to handle the issue, so I guess my concern is, are there other ways we can get this type of information out to the residents, whether it be about coyotes, whether it be about, the work being done on Route 138, where the highway is? People are concerned. People want to know what's going on. Can we get this out to the people? Other than, I know you have your town meetings, but on a daily basis or a weekly basis, is there any way we can get this information out to people? Anything that's helpful that might be good to know?
Well, we could post it on the website. That would be a help.
Okay.
If people, go to that. You've got your Facebook column that you've already posted it on that, so that ought to be a big help. And certainly what you're doing right this minute, if, people that are watching the show will also take heed of what you are saying and pay attention to that. There really isn't a lot that we can do. I don't know what else we can do. We used to have a press come, so it would be in the paper.
3.
You probably will be in the,
We used to have 3 reporters.
well, we used to have, I know, but that's when we had a full quorum at a town meeting too, and those days are gone. What they do now is watch the meeting and report from it. So there will be something, I'm sure, in the paper.
Minutes are on the website.
The minutes are on the website also, and it would be discussed in the minutes. So we should encourage town, you meet every Tuesday? We meet every Tuesday here in this room at 7 o'clock. We should encourage people to attend meetings, and then they can be more informed as to what's going on. I found this incredibly useful, coming tonight.
Madam Chair, if I might, just to clarify, because I know there was some confusion out there, this is not town meeting.
I understand.
Okay, because some people think this is, so selectmen meet every Tuesday.
Yep, yep.
Town meeting, we meet twice a year.
Twice a year.
So there's significant differences onto the function. So I just want to make sure, not just for you, but for everybody, that there's a real clear difference in terms of what takes place at the 2 functions.
But I guess, so if someone had a concern, so I had a concern, I wasn't
And
sure.
we welcome that.
Okay,
and
so
we
they
welcome
should
you
come to a meeting like this if they
Absolutely.
have a concern?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If anybody has a concern, they should come here and express it the same as you did, because that's information for us that we did not know.
Okay.
We didn't know how bad the coyote situation is up
Right.
where you are.
And as far as I know, this is the worst it's been in the 13 years I've been. I've never had a problem
Well,
like this
as you
yet.
said, it's because of the building.
Right.
We're taking all the habitats away from
Right.
them. They have no place to go, so obviously they're going to the next place where they see a few trees.
Exactly.
And if your yard is backed up with any trees, that's where they're going to go. Normally, from what I have been told, they usually don't bother you. If they see people, they will, go the other way. I just wouldn't advise anybody to tie a dog up in the backyard or let their, cats go free, things of that nature, because they are a wild animal.
Right, right.
They are a wild animal. But unfortunately, I do not think there is anything that we, as a board, can instruct anyone to do with it. We can't instruct the police department to go round up all
No,
the
I
coyotes
understand.
and things of that nature.
But,
take precautions.
Exactly.
Take
exactly.
precautions.
So some of the things that I was told, which I've shared, which I hope people will find very helpful.
I'm sure that they
yeah.
will, and I thank you so very much for coming in and bringing it to our attention. And like I said, if anyone else has any issue or problems, come to the board. That's what we're here for.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, please. Just state your name and address so we know who you are and where you live.
Good evening. My name is Joanne Kellogg, and I live at 380 Locust Street. I am in a butter to the Bassett Knolls development.
Yep.
And just to let the selectmen know, I have appealed the development to the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, and we had a pre-hearing meeting yesterday, and I plan on going forth with this appeal. I came to make some remarks about the coyote problem. Yes, Raynham does have a coyote problem. We've had it for quite a while. Every time you put in a development, remove habitat, coyotes are very opportunistic animal. Not only are you removing their natural feeding grounds, but because they are an opportunistic animal, they will go wherever there is free food, whether it's dog food, small pets, bird food. So all these developments that you are putting in is an attraction to them. They're like the bear in the state parks, campsites, dumpsters. They're going to congregate there, and most people feel that if you remove them, you eliminate the problem. That's not how coyotes work. They will overbreed just to occupy the area. So whereas some people, like you, Robin, are just beginning to endure the coyote problem, as long as there is food, whether it's natural or food that we put out inadvertently, garbage cans, whatever, they will be a problem. I have experienced coyotes, fishers, and all kinds of snakes with the development that's been going on before the development happened on Locust Street. I can only imagine that these interactions will intensify. My concern is that the people that are moving into these areas have no idea that this is what they're going to be encountering, and they should be warned. I don't know whose obligation that is, but I can imagine seeing it on the news that someone's cat, dog, kid, whatever, has had an interaction with one that is not favorable. And so you should, be aware of it now, that as long as all this development is going on in town, to the extent that it is, and to the extent that you are removing natural habitat, then it will be an ongoing problem. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention, and yes, I've been around for a long time up in that neck of the woods, and yes, we've had coyotes for years and years.
But it won't just be the coyotes.
Oh, no, it'll
We
be,
had a lot of snakes this year,
And the fox.
tons of them.
And the fishers.
well, that's because you're disrupting them.
Oh, yeah.
We've had nests of the black racer snakes in our backyard for years and years, and they never bother anybody, they just
But as
come
soon as
and
they're
go.
going to bother somebody.
Well, they don't bite, they just, they're snakes. They slither.
But when
Yeah.
their natural habitat is
That's right, they have to fight back,
They will become an issue for
yes.
the residents, whether it's the abutters or the people moving in, they will definitely be an issue.
That's right. And everybody has to be aware of it.
And like I said, I don't know what accommodations are being made to the people who move in from Boston or Fall River, any city that is not aware of what was there before they came, that they're going to be encountering.
I don't think that we can touch that, because I have no idea how we could, other than the fact that if it's in the newspaper and in the print, that they read it, or that they see it on a Facebook, or they hear it at a meeting.
But new people coming in would not necessarily have that information ahead of time before buying into a subdivision. I mean, especially we've had people moving from other parts of the country, people moving from, Rhode Island, people moving, and they're not aware of what was there beforehand.
Yeah.
And
I cannot imagine how we could possibly have anything to do with informing people
I
moving
can put up
in.
a sign if you'd like.
Well, we can't.
You can't
On
do that.
my property,
On
I
your-
can.
Well, on your property.
You can put up a sign if you choose
We
to,
can't
but
advise you to do something like that. That's not
No,
within the
that's-
purview of this board.
Right, but I'm just saying.
Not up to us to-
People moving in have no idea, And you're going to have more people coming in and complaining that these animals that are, this is part of their natural habitat, are now becoming nuisance animals, and it's not their fault.
They're not gonna know how to deal with it. I wouldn't have known how to deal with it until I made it fine. I don't even know if it would work, I just, yeah.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Do we have any other comments, questions, or anything? May I have the motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you and good evening.